SEC basketball is back on a Saturday afternoon in the Midlands of South Carolina, where number 14 Mississippi State comes calling in the rematch against the Gamecocks. It is the first rematch in the SEC's rough and rugged regular season. So glad you could join us. Great crowd on hand. The Coach Perry Clark, I'm Roy Philpott. Coach, we got star power to talk about in this game. Josh Hubbard, leading scorer for Mississippi State. Colin Murray-Boyles for the Gamecocks, potentially first-round draft pick.
Without question, Mr. Hubbard is the drum major for Mississippi State offensively and defensively, keeping them in order. And CMB, what can you say? He does everything for the Gamecocks.
Colin Murray-Boyles and Josh Hubbard. CMB suffered a thumb injury yesterday in practice. Appears to be ready to go, but he does have that left thumb wrapped. And shoot around the day and for this game this afternoon. Bulldogs in the maroon and white. South Carolina in the garnet and white. And we are underway. Be the first of 4 matchups on the SEC network today, including 5 ranked teams in action, starting with MSU out of Starkville.
Mississippi State likes to get off to a really fast start. In their losses on the road, they were really slowed offensively and guarded and forced out of the things that they like to do. Let's see if they can get started fast here today.
R.J. Melendez gives it up to Hubbard. 2 on the timer, up and under. Hubbard forces it up and in from distance.
Hubbard is the catalyst because everybody looks to him to come up with big plays just like he just did there at the end of that shot clock.
CMB in the starting 5 with a thumb injury. Ugasuk gets it done from 3-point range. Head coach Lamont Paris in search of their first SEC victory in 2025. There have been some close calls. We'll try to right the ship this afternoon against Mississippi State. Shot clock down to 1. Gamecocks got to go. Zachary Davis. And inside, the rebound claimed by Jacoby Wright. Fortunate to keep that pivot foot down. Fresh 20, the timer already down to 10. Zachary Davis coming off 22 points. The near upset against Florida. Murray-Boyles from downtown. Melendez the rebound. Bulldogs led by Josh Hubbard. Melendez, the Georgia transfer. Cam Matthews does it all. Seems like he's been in Starkville for about 17 seasons. And Michael Nwoko trying to anchor that front court for Mississippi State. Hubbard off the mark, tracked down by Melendez.
This Mississippi State team does a really good job on the offensive glass. They're physical and strong.
Coach, they pass the eye test getting off the team bus, don't they?
They really do, and they play so well together. Matthews is a guy that kind of does a little bit of everything for him.
Matthews. And the bounce for Clydell Harris Jr. Well, some clutch shots late in the shot clock early. One by Hubbard, the next by Harris.
This is not the start I know South Carolina wanted to see Mississippi State get off to. I think they really wanted to attack them early.
Here's Nick Pringle, the Alabama transfer and South Carolina native. And now Murray-Boyles. Ugasuk step back triple. And Melendez saves it to Matthews.
Right now, Mississippi State, I think, has South Carolina extended a little too far out offensively than what they would like.
Nwoko clears out some space. Yeah, Gamecocks unsettled on offense thus far. What did Matthews tell us last night? I'm the guy that gets it out of the mud for this team. I thought it was a great line.
Well, he does all the tough stuff. They don't run a play for him. It's hard to run a play for a lot of guys. You got to have 1 or 2 guys that you like to run your offense through, and then you need 2 guys that can go get it on their own. And Matthews is one of those guys that can go get his points on his own. Yeah, fun conversation with him and Josh Hubbard, the 2 leaders for head coach Chris Jans. Gamecocks in search of their first points. Ugasuk going to count the bucket. And it's 5-2 on the goaltend. Year 3 for Chris Jans in Starkville. Back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances. And the former WAC coach of the year at New Mexico State 3 times over. And speaking of the coach of the year, last year in the SEC, it was Lamont Paris. I tell you what, Chris Jans has just done a tremendous job at Mississippi State. The culture, and even in the transfer portal, he's brought in guys that fit him defensively, and they add some things offensively because this Mississippi State team offensively is a lot better than what it was a year ago.
off the tip. Hubbard claims it in the backcourt.
And Thomas is in the game now for South Carolina, which is a big relief for South Carolina fans.
Jamari Thomas, with the right knee sprain, has been out since he injured that knee in practice on January 9th. He's expected to miss 3 to 4 weeks. He's back in 2. And perhaps a boost for the Gamecocks and Zachary Davis for the mid-range.
And that's what Thomas does. He gets easier shots for guys on the floor, and guys don't have to play out of position. The last few games, they've had to have guys initiate and playing the point that really weren't brought in to be point guards or two guards.
And a foul on Colin Murray Boyles, 25 feet from the rack. His first, team's first, and a 1-point game 4 minutes in Columbia.
Has had to play out of position, and CMB has had to extend himself to get the ball more because Thomas normally delivers him the ball right where he likes it in his sweet spot. So they're hoping now that things will kind of come together and they can get on a win streak.
During that timeout, veteran officiating crew led by Terry Oglesby went back to the scores table to check the goaltending call, and they indicated to us they're going to remove it. It was not goaltending, so strike 2 points off the board for South Carolina. Vladimir Boyer-Tidal, Will Howard, a part of this crew as well, and they informed us of that change right as we got the replay of the 3 close losses. Nwoko inside, and it's 7-2.
What a force Nwoko is inside. He's physical, he's strong, he rebounds. And that's part of the reason, because South Carolina really depends on his post play.
Davis stop and pop. Harris climbed the ladder for the board, and it's tapped out, and it'll stay with USC.
This is the one thing about this Mississippi State team. They really are unselfish, getting the ball into the paint and sharing the basketball. They do a very good job with that.
Coach, we've seen Mississippi State in the NCAA tournament each of the last 2 seasons. This may be Chris Jans' best team, though, amongst the trio.
Without question. And because offensively, they're very versatile and can do a lot of things.
How about the save by Sean Jones Jr. Just checking in. Gamecocks trying to inbound it. He throws it off the player, and Mississippi State gets it back.
Well, Sean Jones Jr., that's the energy guy. He's the guy that kind of comes up, and if you're a little flat, he gets the extra rebound. He makes the big-time defensive play. And also, when they go to the bench, I mean, they come in with the guy I love is Murphy. 6'10", he's rim protector, defends well. And we got somebody down.
Well, a fan was injured. All right, 7-2 back in Columbia. Perry Clark, Roy Philpott. And that fan that was injured moments ago escorted off the court and the playing area. Here's his steal. And Thomas making an impact already. Colin Murray Boyles. And the rebound claimed by Riley Kugel.
With Kugel and Murphy coming into the game, it gives Mississippi State more firepower offensively, and they're able to move Matthew more like a point forward, and he initiates the offense a lot more for him. A versatility Mississippi State has not had in the past offensively.
Hubbard picked up by Thomas, and Murphy. One on the shot clock and rejected by Murray Boyles out of bounds. That is a shot clock violation.
Murray Boyles does not get enough credit defensively for how hard he plays. I mean, he really does it great. He moves his feet. He's got active hands. He stays between the man and the basket. He really is a complete basketball player.
Coach Thomas with that right knee sprain. It appears to be just fine with the brace. And inside, Arden Conyers draws the contact. 2 free throws coming from number 21.
They really worked on this yesterday in practice. Murray Boyles have it back cut, and they look to get an easy layup off of the pressure of Mississippi State.
You go back to Wednesday in the Florida game, a career-high 8 assists. He is underrated in terms of the vision, Coach.
There's so many coaches when they talk about this South Carolina team say, man, I'd love to coach him just for a day. I mean, he just does so many things well, Murray Boyles does.
And for Lamont Paris, he has served as his voice on the floor. The leadership shown in that loss to Florida, where he gathered the team after the game and just trying to encourage and tell them, hey, we're not losers. We're going to find a way to right the ship, and it's going to happen our next time out.
And he's always been so positive. I mean, his attitude, and he's so unselfish, Murray Boyles, in how he plays.
7-3, here's Hubbard. And a scrum. Jones comes away with it. And now Hubbard again. Great look to Kugel.
Phil, this is what Mississippi State feeds off of. Offensive rebounds, loose balls, aggressive plays, and this is the thing that keeps them going and what makes them such a tough basketball team.
Thomas and Murray Boyles play the two-man game. He'll get it back. Conyers for three. Mississippi State, number 14 in the country, already with wins, 3 in fact over ranked teams before the month of February. Melendez off the mark. Gamecocks just 1 of 9 from the floor thus far. Almost 7 minutes in. Thomas fouled.
And this is one of the things that Hubbard does. He drives, he gets easy baskets for other people, and that's when I call him the drum leader, because he does so many things besides just score the basketball and helping his team offensively.
9-3 with Thomas shooting 2. Former MEAC Player of the Year at Norfolk State. Started his career at UNC Wilmington. And Murray Boyles going to get a breather as Nick Pringle checks in. First foul on Keyshawn Murphy.
It's important, I think, for South Carolina to find a pace in this basketball game. I know they like to play a little faster and to get some easier baskets than what they've gotten so far, and that's what hurt them the first time they played Mississippi State. They had really trouble scoring it.
Yeah, that game 85-50 3 weeks ago at Humphrey Coliseum in Starkville. It was a 25-point advantage for the Bulldogs at halftime, and there was no turning back. Murphy inside, strong finish at the rack.
Murphy is so tough in that low post. Well, I'd love to coach a guy like that. He can catch it, step away, put it on the floor. He's got good footwork and good balance.
His production has been on the up and up in his first 3 seasons playing for the Bulldogs. His consistency. And a foul on the floor as Pringle tried to split the double team.
This is where Mississippi State likes to go, although they don't try to pound it, but they get it to Murphy. They isolate the side because they have so many good shooters. He's tough to handle one-on-one down there.
You go back to his first season, 3.5 points per game in 2023. The next year, 4.7 points per contest. And then this year he is up to double figures. An impressive start for Keyshawn Murphy. A guy who's done a little bit of everything. And not to mention the rebounding. Leads MSU in that category so far. Conyers rejected by Murphy. Shot clock down to 2. Martin Conyers bottled up in a shot clock violation. The defense phenomenal on that possession.
Mississippi State did a great job of shutting down the rim there, and that's what they live off of, their defense. That's why they're awful tough. To push the ball for them, that'll happen.
You coached here in Columbia. You know what it's like in this league. It's better than ever. For Lamont Paris right now, what do you tell your guys when you've been so close but come up just short?
Well, you have to stay positive. There's still a lot of basketball yet to play. And, you know, if we can, they still have a chance of being 500 in the league, and that'll get you in the NCAA tournament. I mean, and certainly postseason is there because the league is so tough and you got quad 1 wins. You just got to do the little things, which is not turn the ball over, which has been their biggest problem.
Gamecocks 1 for 11 shooting to start. Only down 6. Keyshawn Murphy banging down low. Banks it in again.
I don't know how they keep putting a guard on Murphy. I don't know what they're doing. I don't think they're going to be able to switch. It's the second time he got the ball in the post, and he was facing a smaller player.
Bulldogs coming off a tough road loss at Tennessee. Conyers triple team. Somehow maintains possession and gets fouled. Well, Keyshawn Murphy's so tough.
Again, you see Murphy right there. He's working against Thomas, the smallest player on the floor. That's the mismatch.
You got to send help in that sequence on number 3 in maroon, don't they?
Thomas is going over there asking coach right now, can I get a little support in here?
One more free throw for Conyers. I think that's a fair ask. Knee brace and all.
But it's the second time in a row, and I know South Carolina will switch at times, but that might be a situation where they just can't switch to keep a big on him.
Riley Kugel walking up the court. Florida transfer. He's put up solid numbers this year. Chris Jan's telling us last night he's coming. We're getting the most out of him. He's in a good space. If we can get him to be a two-way player and give us what we need defensively, look out. Here's Jones. And trying to break around the screen. That's going to be a foul on Murphy. His second. He was moving in the process.
So many times big guys pick up fouls trying to set a screen on a guard or a dribble handoff by not being stationary.
That's fundamental basketball, right? And not be moving around on the attempted screen. It's a thing.
Big guys always want to try to help when they just to stay at home and take their time. And the guards have to wait for them to get situated.
Gamecocks without a field goal in 5 minutes, trailing 13-7. Conyers will try to change that here. Pringle, Sky for the rebound, and it pops out to Nwoko.
You're finished with dealing with Murphy, and then Nwoko comes in at 6'10", and he's a load in the low post.
Here's Harris. Well, Thomas, the right knee looks good so far. Mentioned Davis had 22 in the first meeting, had 22 against Florida on Wednesday night. Thomas. Melendez, the rebound on Nwoko, and Pringle got tied up inside, no whistle. And Thomas a steal. Zachary Davis from downtown connects. We'll see that opens things up for Carolina.
It does, and that's one of the things Thomas, by playing the point, Davis used to initiate when Thomas was out, and Davis is a really good shooter. So him going back to his shooting position, I think, is the best thing for that young man.
Coach, it's their first field goal in 6.5 minutes. They're only down a possession. Approaching 9 to go in the first. Nwoko with 5 to shoot. He'll bang on Pringle for a minute. Turnaround is too strong. Melendez fouled on the putback, and he will shoot 2.
One of the things that I think through the struggles of South Carolina, their defense, Roy, has been really good. They do a really good job of not allowing drives, playing the gaps, and shutting down penetration.
I think they want to double check to make sure that shot clock had not already gone off before the foul was called. And they're going to take a look at this. Terry Oglesby walking towards the scorer's table. We will have a look ourselves.
It was really close.
Every time you and I are in this arena, there's a lot of these kinds of things happening. Let's see what we see.
It doesn't get any closer than that.
review. Foul on the court is confirmed. Foul happened before the shot clock violation.
2 free throws for R.J. Melendez. And Zachary Davis pick up the foul, just the second against the Gamecocks. And Lamont Paris. So after the cold shooting start, you're trying to find a way to get your first conference victory. I think you'll take 13-10, even MSU shooting 2 free throws at this point.
You will. I mean, South Carolina has to be pleased defensively with how they're playing right now. Offensively, they've got to figure out and get into a flow. And this Mississippi State team is so physical, and they really got good rim protectors. So it takes away a lot of your inside game, which is what you really like to do. So they really do need South Carolina, some of their three-point shooters, to step up like Davis just did and knock down some shots.
Melendez 80% at the line this season. We'll get one more. Don't forget, next Sunday, February 2nd, SEC Network Women's Basketball Quadruple Header. Number 2, South Carolina, fresh off that win yesterday against top 5 LSU, will host Auburn, Bulldogs, and Tigers down in Baton Rouge, Kentucky, and OU in a top 15 clash. And the late night matchup, Texas A&M. Longhorns led by Madison Booker head over to College Station to complete the afternoon into the evening. Melendez 1 of 2 at the line. Here comes full court pressure.
This has been the thing that has really hurt South Carolina, the pressure and the unforced turnovers.
Thomas to Davis, and it was blocked by Melendez on the blow-by before Nwoko jumped out of bounds.
Nwoko has to learn. He's got to get rid of that pass. He thought maybe he got bumped or pushed. There you see a great closeout, got a great hand up. And this Mississippi State team, boy, do they play really good defense. We talked to Chris last night, and he still hangs his hat on the fact that they play defense. He thinks they can play better, as most coaches.
He has revamped his offensive philosophy along the way to make his team more attractive to recruits and even in the transfer portal. Bozeman's for Donk has that pass picked off by Cam Matthews.
Anything that goes in the low post, they do a monster double, which means the other big comes over and traps the box.
Google draws the double team. Nwoko draws 3. Shot clock to 5. Here's Cam Matthews. Off the mark with a finger roll. And Colin Murray-Boyle's unable to save it. Tap dancing out of bounds. Now Colin Murray-Boyle's without a point thus far. That jammed thumb that he injured yesterday in practice.
The same thing happened in the first game. Colin Murray-Boyle didn't get off offensively and struggled some. I think he went the first 4 or 5 minutes before he even got his shot. So they've got to figure out a way to get him more actively involved scoring.
You saw the thumb wrap there as Nwoko track it down deep in the backcourt. Yeah, he had 10 rebounds in Starkville, Coach, but the points held in single digits and just never able to get cranked up. Like this man here, Josh Hubbard. Bottled up nicely by CMB. He'll find a shot, and it's short. And Melendez is going to be fouled under the rim. 14-10 and a grinder here in Columbia so far.
Really touched the nerve with him, because he also was going to tear up on you on that. He said there's a story with it, but he was going to save it for another day.
Yeah. He is built differently. An all-time leading scorer in Mississippi high school basketball history. Over 4,000 points in his career. And at that size, you got to find a way to get to the rim, to get open. He's done all of that. And he's turned out to be a heck of a guard with the vision.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people that said, you're too small, you're too small, you're too small. So it's personal.
Nwoko against Bozeman's Verdonk. 1 to shoot. Cam Matthews forces that one up. Murray-Boyle's the rebound. When nothing has come easy in this game for either side offensively. And Wright appears to be okay. Tumbling past him was Matthews. And Cam Matthews picks up his first. Now look out below on this one. Matthews. It looked to be a lot worse than what it ended up being after that replay.
I tell you what, the recovery that Mississippi State has is amazing on their closeouts. It looked like Wright was going to be wide open for a jump shot, and they took it away immediately.
And Wright trying to penetrate, draw the foul, and that's going to put South Carolina in the bonus for the final 7 minutes of this half. And for a team struggling to score, it'll be the second on Matthews. I mean, this is a blessing for that man and his program, Lamont Paris, to be able to get some free points at the line.
Especially, well, give them credit for keep attacking, because I tell you, Mississippi State is really being physical, trying to keep the ball out of the paint, but South Carolina is still forcing the ball to get to the rim.
Wright misses the front end of the 1-and-1. Gamecocks 5 of 7 at the line to start. Trailing by 4. Mention those rake wins by Mississippi State, Pittsburgh, Memphis. And off the steal, inside Thomas. One possession game at 14-12.
South Carolina, when I was watching practice yesterday, really did concentrate on trying to keep the ball out of the paint and doubling the ball whenever they can.
Another steal by Thomas. Goaltending, count the bucket tied at 14.
Oh, his knee, his knee.
And you hope Thomas is okay with that right knee. Was expected to miss 3 to 4 weeks with a knee sprain suffered in practice on January 9th. That's the first steal. And now the second as Thomas hops up cleanly.
But the biggest thing, he went right over the front of the rim, which gave him the ability to make sure that the shot couldn't be blocked.
Mark Rogers out to tend to Thomas, and Rogers has done a great job, getting Thomas back as quickly as possible and dealing with a multitude of other injuries on this roster.
I'm telling you, I don't know if there's a better trainer in college basketball than Mark Rogers. I mean, he's just done a tremendous job of getting guys back, keeping guys healthy. He always tells you it's going to take 2 weeks and he gets them back in 3 days. I mean, but he spends a lot of time in the training room and created a situation. There's Studi right there. And Studi was talking to a teammate about a circulation, and that's when Mark picked up that he had a blood clot. And he had him tested, and that's why he's right now day to day. But what a great job he does.
Mark Rogers.
Phil, your medical staff means a win or 2 wins a year for you.
It's part of the hidden component in college sports, what those guys are able to do. Gamecocks get it back in search of the lead.
If they can get CMB going right now, it'll really, really pick it up.
Kobe Wright gets it over to Ugasuk. And Davis sends it inside to Conyers and blocked by Jones from behind.
The athleticism on Mississippi State is amazing.
Josh Hubbard from distance. That's a 3. Bulldogs back in front.
Very seldom do you see jump shooters. You know, a lot of guys are set shooters, but Hubbard is a jump shooter.
He'll hang in the air for a minute or two, even under duress, and find a way to get that shot off. Doesn't need much real estate to do it. Murray Boyles on the Woko, spinning out of bounds and off the mark. Kugel, by that first step, dumps it off the Woko. 19-14.
Some matchups are difficult. It seems like Mississippi State matches well with Colin Murray Boyles. the way that they defend him takes away a lot of the things that he likes to do.
Murray Boyles, the iron shot by Conyers, who's bumped from behind. He's going to head back to the free throw line. But Jones, an immaculate rejection.
Yeah. They just don't give up defensively, and then Hubbard comes right back and hits you with the dagger with the three-point play, with the three-point shot.
You go back to that first matchup between these two teams. It's 43-18 at halftime in Starkville. And so far today, in terms of three-pointers, Gamecocks struggling to find that rhythm from behind the arc.
Size, quickness, and reaction. That's what Mississippi State does defensively, and has really created a problem for South Carolina here today. And they've got to figure out a way, especially to get their inside game going, because that's what South Carolina really is lived off of, with Colin Murray-Boyle and Pringle really going strong in the paint area. And they've just taken all of that away, Mississippi State, in the way that they've defended.
Guy Chol has checked in for the first time, the 7-footer for head coach Chris Jans in Mississippi State. The 34 in maroon. They run the pick and roll game with Hubbard. Hubbard keeps it from 16. Thomas. Bump by Hubbard. And Josh Hubbard picks up his first, and Jamari Thomas going to go back to the free throw line.
See, but the thing that Thomas does, he doesn't turn it over. He either gets a basket opportunity or he gets the ball to somebody else. South Carolina's had problems turning the ball over. It did against Vandy, did against Oklahoma. That's not happening tonight.
You go back to last season, and the fact that Lamont Paris missing Talon Cooper and the great job that he did of stabilizing force, made shots in the clutch, but most importantly, Coach, didn't turn it over. Go on the road this year at Vanderbilt, 25 turnovers. That was a thing. The Florida game in the second half, that became an issue, and the Gators come back. And now Thomas returns, and he's been out. He helps bring that stabilizing idea back in the backcourt.
He does. And again, the biggest thing that he doesn't turn it over. He gets you some kind of look on every possession.
South Carolina, only 3 turnovers so far today. Hubbard off the mark. Thomas comes away with it. And Thomas turns it over. Ahead to Hubbard against Murray Boyles, the floater. He's got 8.
We talked him into a turnover.
We did. Right open on the backdoor cut. Hubbard slaps it away for a moment. Davis to Murray Boyles. First points for Colin Murray Boyles. And Blondell Harris Jr. remains down on the deck. That'll get us to an injury timeout. 1-point game in Columbia. 3 minutes and change remaining in the half. Day of college basketball in the SEC. Here on the network alone, you got 4 games, Coach, involving 5 teams ranked
Incredible
in the AP Top 25. First one starts today with Mississippi State here in Columbia, ranked 14th in the country. And then Tennessee and Auburn. Game day was there this morning. What an incredible scene that was in Neville Arena. And here on SEC Network, Georgia, Florida, as soon as we're done here. Ole Miss, Mizzou later tonight. LSU and Alabama from Coleman Coliseum. Cap off the night, 8:30 Eastern over in Tuscaloosa. Harris, short on the 3. And Nwoko lost the grip, out of bounds.
I talked about getting Harris more involved, but that was long range. I think that Mississippi State has to do more dribble penetration than what they're doing. I think they're settling for 3-point shots instead of driving it and creating situations where South Carolina has to rotate.
Another turnover. This time Thomas trying to spot Zachary Davis and Lamont Paris. You know, we talked to him today, and Coach, you were at practice yesterday as well. He's not happy. He's frustrated. But I think in talking to his guys, he's done a great job staying even keel to make sure it's 6 games in. We're going to be okay. Let's try to get this thing going. Let's cut back on the turnovers and see how many wins we can stack up. Hasn't happened yet, but I do admire his enthusiasm and how he has portrayed all of this to his guys.
Unbelievable patience, unbelievable positivity with his players. They're in a good mental frame of mind. They still believe that they can win. Much more patience than I would have had when I coached. I can tell you that.
Colin Murray-Boyles picked up his 2nd personal foul. And so here in the first half with Miles Studi on the bench, Murray-Boyles going to check out as Arden Conyers comes back in.
You know, the leadership on the team of South Carolina is good. I mean, Colin Murray-Boyles is a good leader. Nick Pringle's been really good. Thomas, when he came back to practice yesterday, was really good. So those are real positive signs.
Shot clock at 5. Here's Harris. Outside to Kugel. Little stop and pop triple, and it's all net.
Kugel is such a really good shooter, and so is Thomas. I think that Mississippi State has to get better ball movement, get those guys some really good looks.
Gamecocks have yet to establish a lead in this game. They've had 3 different possessions to do so.
Phil, but when you look up, all you see is a defender in front of you. There's no open area to drive the basketball. There's no open area to shoot the basketball. Mississippi State has done a really good job of closing out and staying in front of defensively.
Hubbard, boy, brilliant pass inside to Nwoko. No traveling call there. And the easy bucket extends the lead to 6.
Being able to penetrate the foul line and operate from the foul line to the baseline normally allows you to see how effective offensively you're going to be. Right now, South Carolina has not been able to really effectively operate from the foul line to the baseline.
Melendez, the steal, then off his knee and out of bounds.
There you see Hubbard. That's what I'm talking about, the penetration. Not looking to score, but looking to set up a teammate.
You know, one of the things Chris Jans talked about with his team in his pregame conversation earlier today, in the half court, we're at our best when we keep the ball moving and create advantages for each other, and we saw that there with Hubbard. His vision has been tremendous so far and a difference maker in this game, along with the 2 threes. And a jump ball. Possession arrow keeps it on this end.
You know, coaches always talk about playing inside out. The reason why they talk about that is because if you go into the basket, you create rotation. And in rotation, you're either going to get a layup or you're going to be able to kick it to somebody to get an easier shot. And it's easier to drive against closeouts than it is against a set defense.
Pringle gets it over to Wright. Under a minute to go in the half. Davis picked up by Harris. And now Nwoko rips it away. Shot clock is off. Bulldogs can play for the final shot of the half. And a timeout called by Chris Jans. Well, clearly Mississippi State with its physicality and a 6-point lead, exactly where it wants to be. And Coach, you got a chance to close out this half with a bucket, and that would feel awfully enormous given the low-scoring nature of this game.
In a game like this, a 6-point lead is like a 12-point lead because buckets are hard to come by. But what South Carolina has to realize, you cannot turn your back. Whenever you spin, there's another defensive player coming right over to try to pick your pocket, and it's happened to him twice. It happened to Davis on that last possession.
Well, turnovers have started to become more of an issue at the end of this half. The return of Thomas has helped in that manner. And Chris Jans, well, he's got an energy about him. Even last night at their hotel, he's moving around, he's moving and shaking, and there's been some caffeine involved.
He's a special because I asked him, you know, what was he expecting when he took the job at Mississippi State? Has he kind of surpassed his expectation? He said, Perry, I just wanted to get through the press conference.
I didn't want to mess up the PC, the opening press conference. I would say he's done quite well.
No, very well.
And they're recruiting at a higher clip now because of the offense a little faster. There's better spacing, transition buckets, and this guy right here, Josh Hubbard. A lot of guys want to play with him, number 12 in maroon. Five seconds to go. And Gamecocks commit the foul. Pringle with a foul to give, with 3.4 remaining in the half. So not a bad infraction there for Carolina. And inside, Melendez tried to spring free. Conyers picks up the foul.
Yeah.
And that's going to put Mississippi State in the bonus.
That's the difference between a young freshman playing against a veteran and knowing what you can and can't do in those situations. Melendez created the contact and rolled it, and you just got to keep your arms up and not foul in that situation. That's not a good foul.
Melendez 1 of 2 at the line, 80% on the season. He'll get the bonus free throw. And Mississippi State, a 7-point advantage, a chance to tie their largest lead in the half with one more free throw by Melendez. Guy Chol checks back in for the Bulldogs. Rim protector. And Lamont Paris will call a timeout.
You know, it's been a good half from a standpoint defensively for South Carolina. I mean, they've done a really good job of protecting the paint. They've not let Mississippi State knock down a whole lot of threes, which they're more than capable of doing. The biggest thing is offensively being able to score the basketball. And unfortunately, with kids, if that ball's not going through the basket, sometimes it has an effect, and you've got to figure out some ways to get some easy baskets.
For Lamont Paris here. Got 3.5 seconds to work with. What's the game plan to try to get it up the floor in the bucket?
I think a long pass, you got to run a pin down for one of your shooters and let them come around half court to the hash, catch it, and get a shot off. Or if you can't do that, let Thomas get it in the middle of the floor and let him just power dribble to the top of the key and try to get a shot. Thomas
cleared to practice late in the week. Was a go yesterday and this morning at shoot-around. He has served his role well in his return after 2 weeks from that right knee sprain. There's the baseball pass by Davis, picked off by Chol. Pringle gets it back. Really banked it in.
Just like I said, throw a long pass to Pringle and let him take a bank shot.
It's a good look. Didn't drop for Pringle. And 20 minutes into this rock fight, advantage Mississippi State, 28-20. They end the half on a 7-0 run. Let's get you to the studio. Peter Burns, Ron Slay, Damian Fishback.
Into easy baskets with the fast break. So I think offensively, Roy, you have to wind up clearing the floor more. You've got to run some action, pin downs, flares, give them something different to handle, because spacing the floor, you're not getting any dribble penetration.
That was a look at our good hands play brought to you by Allstate. You take a look at the offense, and it has been non-existent in the first 3 halves of basketball played between these two teams in the month of January. The first rematch in the SEC's regular season. And it's Mississippi State with the first possession, the final 20 minutes. Josh Hubbard inside. Great defense by Jacoby Wright. Gamecocks led by Jamari Thomas, back on the floor for the first time since January 9th in that right knee injury in practice. And a difference maker defensively as well, wearing that right knee brace. He will begin this second half on Lamont Paris's bench. And Kobe Wright, the runner. Colin Murray-Boyle's kind of absent in the first 20. Something's got to change there.
Yeah, but Wright's got to make that jump shot. There's enough space there, and that's what he does. He can shoot the ball and score the ball.
Josh Hubbard paced the Bulldogs. 8 of the 28 points scored in the first half today. Big afternoon and evening of college basketball on SEC Network. 5 ranked teams in action. Nwoko was fouled on the attempted dunk, and 23 maroon going to shoot a pair.
What's happening on the ball screens is defensively they're stepping up and the big is helping, so you have to do the drop pass there on the roll to the big. There you see the big has to roll. Nobody came over. The secondary defender didn't come over in time to make the shot block.
Michael Nwoko, the Miami transfer, originally from Toronto. Only 59% at the line. He'll get one more.
One of the things now offensively is spacing the floor, ball screening, allow guys to go one-on-one, show their individual talent. Well, you have to have somebody that can break down the defense to make that work. And right now, the way they're playing defensively, they're jamming the lanes and they're helping so nobody can just drive the basketball.
And Nwoko, contact with Nick Pringle. He's going to pick up his second.
See, on all ball screens right now, the bigs are showing. So with the guard, even if he comes off, he can't come off clean.
Murray-Boyle's a skip pass. He thought Wright was going to be in the neighborhood. Instead, he was camped out in the paint, man. A turnover. They'll have a conversation about it.
South Carolina works on that a lot. It was just miscommunication that time. Wright should have faded to the corner.
It certainly was the expectation for Murray-Boyles. Josh Hubbard, quick release, in and out. Mississippi State not allowing South Carolina to get out in transition whatsoever so far.
I think when you get in a situation like this, I think you got to force feed the ball to certain people. I think right now they need to force feed the ball to Murray-Boyles.
How about that?
I mean, that's just that's the guy. You need to just, if it's not happening organically, you got to make it happen.
He's got 4 points. It's only a 7-point game. It does feel like Mississippi State should be up by a larger advantage. Inside, Murray-Boyles hit the deck, and Nwoko the finish. Wanted the charge, didn't get the whistle.
Right now, Mississippi State's taking advantage of rolling the post guy, and the secondary defender there for South Carolina is not there to create contact at the rim.
Melendez thought he had a pick 6. Outside to right. Big triple for Carolina.
That's what he does. That's what he has to step up and do. He's had some trouble with his turnovers. He's got to put that on the back burner and do the things he does well, what he was recruited here to do, which is shoot the basketball.
First points of the night for Jacoby Wright. Lead down to 6. And here's Hubbard. Open path, lays it in.
See, this is what I'm saying. There was no rim protector there. You have to have a rim protector to make sure you take away the drives like that of smaller guards.
Coach, he's the first player in this game in double figures. Josh Hubbard with 10. 21 in the first meeting 3 weeks ago. Zachary Davis stopping by. Strong put back for Nick Pringle. First bucket, the South Carolina native and Alabama transfer.
South Carolina will go as far as their post play will take them. They need Pringle and they need Colin Murray-Boyles to step up and be dominant players in games.
Nwoko. And Pringle sends it out of bounds by accident.
Watch this. You see Colin Murray-Boyles, he gets the ball there. He's just got to go strong. He shouldn't even thought about it. All right. And then by getting your big guys involved, the defense collapses, and then you get the three-point shooters going. Now you can offensive rebound. It just opens a lot of things up.
Pringle to the bench. Ugasuk back on the floor. Harris short on the 3. And Jamari Thomas also checks back in for the first time in the half. And fouled by Harris. That'll be his second.
Coach Chad, yeah, he's trying to give in offensively and give his guys a little bit more leeway offensively, but he didn't like that quick shot by Harris. He wanted more ball movement on that possession.
Davis to Ugasuk, the top three-point shooter. Does not get the bounce. Harris claims a rebound. Hubbard with 10. Off the hesitation, picked up by Bozeman's Verdonk. It's a long way from home for that. Harris attacking, finger roll, and lays it in.
That's what he wanted Harris to do. Not just take the quick three, but dribble probe with that.
Coach, is the finger roll coming back in college basketball? We saw it yesterday here between South Carolina and LSU on the women's side. We've seen it a couple of times so far this afternoon.
Well, if you don't have a shot blocker in there, a rim protector, then it will come back, because this is the thing that made it extinct.
Thomas the shimmy. 4 to shoot. Bozeman's Verdonk. And poked out by Murphy with .9 to shoot. 5 minutes in our second half. An 8-point game, downtown Columbia. Beautiful day outside. Trying to find that rhythm. That one matchup last March, it worked out. This year, it's been a different story.
And what part of it, I think, is because of his unselfishness. And I think he has to push the envelope and show no matter what you do, you cannot take that away from me. Between him and Pringle, they only have 9 shot opportunities.
.9 to shoot here, and a violation on the attempted inbounds right past Murray Boyles over to Ugasuk. Now, tough situation for Lamont Paris's team there. Not a lot of time to work with. Well, I tell you, it was a great environment here yesterday with number 5 LSU in town and Dawn Staley in the house today taking in the action. Her team victorious by 10. That top 5 showdown. Good environment today as well for a team that's trying to find its way and pick up that first league victory. Keyshawn Murphy. The jump hook is there.
Murphy's awful tough. You see the patience that he had. A lot of big guys get in and think that there's a clock and they got to hurry up and take a bad shot. And he really took his time and found the right angle.
Coach, if I was about a foot taller, I would have rushed that sequence as a potential big man. Bozeman's Verdonk dribbles that one out of bounds. And Mississippi State now has its largest lead at 10.
See, but they're trying to force the ball into Verdonk. There you see Murphy right there. See how he keeps his eye on the rim, never gives that up, and the patience that he has is the thing I like about him offensively. But I think South Carolina has to go into Boyles right now.
Murray Boyles, the rejection on Matthews inside. And now Jamari Thomas. The hesitation. We'll shoot 2. And Riley Kugel pick up the foul, his first. Thomas back to the free throw line. Leads Carolina in scoring today with 8. A perfect 4-4 at the stripe. Thomas, a native of Greensboro, North Carolina. MEAC Player of the Year a season ago. All the games coming up on SEC Network. Georgia, Florida follows us later tonight. A top 25 showdown at Mizzou Arena. Ole Miss and Missouri. Bama and LSU. The nightcap at 8:30 Eastern. Top 5 Alabama. Mark Sears, head coach Nate Oates trying to get back to the Final Four and win that elusive national championship this spring.
I tell you, this league really prepares you because of the different styles of play for the NCAA tournament. The physicality, the fast pace, the three-point shooters, the inside players and post people. It really gives you a good menu for what you're going to have to face in March.
Sean Jones. Bozeman's Verdonk, I believe, caught up to that. Jones ran out of real estate going under the backboard. that's a foul on Jones. His second. 14 fouls already on the Bulldogs. Just one called against South Carolina. And Lamont Paris talking with Arden Conyers, who's become a bigger part of the picture this last month or so for the Gamecocks.
He was working with the first group before the injuries, and because they really liked him offensively. They think he's got very special skills.
Gamecocks need some offense, more than 3 minutes since their last field goal.
See, this is where I think Murray Boyles has to really look and be more aggressive when he gets the ball at the top of the key and turn and face. And when he talks to Lamont, he likes to put him there because he can strong side drive. And it's hard to give help on that.
Second foul called on Hubbard. Josh told us yesterday the league has done a great job in scouting him. The conference play is underway. Colin Murray-Boyles, no. Bozeman's for Doc, yes.
But that drive creates the defense to collapse and gets a layup for South Carolina. Again, you have to work through him.
Contact inside. Jones fell down. Conyers did as well, right near the elbow. And both still on the deck in pain.
Both two high-energy guys. Conyers trying to deny the pass, and Jones trying to make his cut. Coach Sands is saying he was just trying to make his cut. He got held.
Conyers will be called for the foul. Check to see if anything would warrant elevated situation with a flagrant one.
They used to try to make the cut. Conyers stepped up. He says the defensive foul.
Well, the arm does come up towards Conyers there from Jones. Just a physical play.
Conyers will learn, don't lead with your chin. Keep your hands up. Yeah, keep your hands up.
I got you on that. It's a big moment in this game. A 7-point lead. South Carolina is not led within striking distance.
After review, call on the court is confirmed.
I think Conyers got the worst end of that collision.
He's got to learn you can't foul with your chin.
Crowd didn't appreciate that sequence.
You know, one of the things, Mississippi State, Kugel is a really good scorer. Murphy's a really good scorer. South Carolina's done a really good job of limiting those guys, besides Matthew, from really stepping up and getting some easy looks. So defensively, South Carolina's played pretty well. They've just got to get some consistency offensively to their flow.
Great look inside to Murphy, and Murray-Boyles took a tumble. They're going to count the bucket and the foul with Murphy, giving Mississippi State a 9-point lead and a free throw coming.
Murphy is so deceptive. Look, you see that cut right there? A good read by the big. Finish at the rim. I like the way that young man plays. He's savvy. His hunger to try to score the basketball.
Murray-Boyles with 3 fouls. A lead back to 9. Now at 10.
Now the pressure.
2-2-1 full court pressure poured by Chris Jans. He will switch up his defense on occasion just to give the opposition a different look, change up the rhythm.
Make you think, and that's all you're trying to do sometimes, get guys out of rhythm.
And traveling the call on Arden Conyers.
That young man's got to slow down a little bit. He's excited. He's got to slow down a little bit and take his time.
And the turnover starting to mount up here in this second half. Spin by Hubbard. He'll spot Murphy down low. Boy, Hubbard cuts like a running back even without the basketball in his hands. Here's Kugel. That's a big-time three, and the lead expands to 13. Kugel now with 8.
The way Kugel has come over to Mississippi State and integrated into this team offensively and defensively. We talked to Coach last night about that, and he's been really pleased.
Thomas, back iron. Yeah, Riley Kugel, the Florida transfer, was a good player at Florida, inconsistent at times, and it feels like Chris Jans has gotten absolutely all that he can.
He was going to come to Mississippi State with Corey McCray till Corey, the staff got let go, and then he wound up going to Florida. So when he went to transfer, it was an easy decision to come to Mississippi State.
Head to Ugasuk. Blocked at the rim by Matthews, out of bounds. It'll be South Carolina basketball when we come back, but Riley Kugel with 8 points and a spark for head coach Chris Jans.
Well, he gives you that spark. He's a very talented offensive player. Catch, shoot, and knocks it down. And then the defense is what they've been hanging their hat on. Big-time block. Mississippi State's up.
Mojo try to get a comeback going here at Colonial Life.
Well, it's good to have relationships like that, and that's what the sport does. It creates relationships and friendships with that. When I left Georgia Tech to go to Tulane, I knew everybody at Delta, and they would come down to visit me in New Orleans. And even when we weren't very good, they enjoyed Bourbon Street.
Not a bad deal. And the guys making the trip down, great to see. Gamecocks got work to do. This game has been there for the taking. They've been able to hang around a little bit, unable to break through. They have not led in this game. And Nick Pringle with a spark inside for a moment.
And that's what's got to happen. You have to go with Murray Boyles and Pringle. Those two guys have got to step up. Like I said, they were 3 for 9 earlier.
Nwoko inside, throws it up and in. Almost a flat-footed jump hook, if you will. He's got 11.
Yeah, but Nwoko does a good job with his body. He plays angles. He's big. He's strong.
I mean, he probably got an inch off the ground. But it dropped.
And now you play him and Murphy together, and then all of a sudden, defensively, you really have a wall there around the basket. There you see the passes, takes his time. That's the one thing I like about the Mississippi State Post guys. They do not rush.
Bulldogs with a 10-point advantage. Points in the paint, 24-14 so far. A 13-point lead. And Pringle, contact with Nwoko, is third.
He took a little bit of a bang right there. Nwoko is not afraid to lay an elbow on somebody in a very competitive way.
A little chuckle there from the sideline. Physical game. Really an extension, it feels like, of what transpired in Starkville January 4th. Conyers trying to change that momentum. He's going to shoot 2. Fourth on Nwoko. So we'll see if that becomes a factor down the stretch. Problem for South Carolina is Nwoko is going to check out. Cameron Matthews comes in. Jack of all trades. And like he told us yesterday, I like to get it out of the mud. He's done that a couple of times so far in this one.
He really has.
Don't forget, coming up next weekend, February 2nd, a quadruple header of women's basketball action. Number 2, South Carolina against Auburn here in CLA. LSU, Mississippi State, UK, and OU, followed by the nightcap at 6 Eastern, Texas, and Texas A&M. And a host of top 15 clubs in action. LSU, South Carolina, got Kentucky a part of that mix, and Texas.
The versatility Mississippi State has on different guys that can initiate the offense. Right now, Kugel's initiating it, and he does it with a bucket.
One-on-one, another triple. He's in double figures with 11. And the largest lead for MSU at 14. And Lamont Paris looks down towards his bench for answers. Bulldogs defense has been suffocating. Case in point, Melendez corrals the errant shot by Wright. Kugel to Murphy. Somehow poked away and retrieved by Matthews. halfway home in our second half in Columbia. Five to shoot. Dump off to Murphy. And a foul called is going to put Keyshawn Murphy at the free throw line again.
I can't tell you how much it helps your offense when you have a big that can catch, put it on the floor, and also pass, and that's what Murphy's able to do. And there's Kugel coming right off and knocking down a jump shot. There's the screen. He puts it on the floor, doesn't go, but he gets to the foul line. You can see Davis a little flustered with that. But when you have a big that active, it allows you to do a lot of different things.
One more free throw coming for Murphy. Colin Murray-Boyles checks back in. Murray-Boyles, 4 points, 5 rebounds. Breather for Thomas.
You want your players to be unselfish, but at the same token, when you're the guy, you have to go and get it. You have to force the issue. No coach is upset when his best player is forcing the issue, especially offensively.
Double team on Pringles. Step through it. Murray-Boyles draws 2 as well. And the offense gets cranked up with 5 to shoot. Jacoby Wright.
That's the drive you have to do, but again, the attention was played to Murray-Boyles, so it created the scoring opportunity for Wright.
Murphy again, the clear pass and the dunk. Keyshawn Murphy starting to take this game over for Mississippi State. He's got 11. Bulldogs have made their last 5 from the field. Murray-Boyles saves it. Back to Wright. And again, Perry, that shot clock winding down. Pringle had a spin to catch it, and he turns it over. Murray-Boyles gets it back in a pinball fashion. Not sure what that was. He was spinning and twisting. Boy, this game awfully sloppy. 3 of the last 4 possessions.
There you see what Mississippi State is really doing well. They set the ball screen, they roll the big guy, he finishes at the rim, and Mr. Murphy has done a really good job offensively creating space and scoring opportunities for Mississippi State.
Chris Jans told us last night, road win in this conference, so difficult to get. Try to preach to his guys after beating Carolina by 35 earlier. This will be a different team and a different kind of game. Whatever it was he tried to sell his players, it feels like that's paying dividends so far. Bulldogs are rolling a 14-point lead, under 8 to go in Columbia. Than that, you get to the second page. Ole Miss, Mizzou. Georgia's back in the field. Vanderbilt with Mark Byington. What a great job he's done. OU in Texas. Welcome to the SEC. And by the way, you get a ticket to the dance right now if it started today. But there is work to do there and work to do for South Carolina. Trailing by 14. Perry Clark, Roy Philpott here in Columbia. It's going to be quite the scene on the Plains tonight. Auburn and UT.
That'll be incredible. I used to call Bruce Pearl Barnum and Bailey because you go down there, it's like the circus is coming to town. I mean, they got a little bit of everything going on. You don't know if he's going to wear his shirt, not wear his shirt. You don't know what he's going to do. Bruce, I've known him for a long time. Incredible coach, better motivator.
I don't know that anybody's done a better job at any school in America in men's college basketball than what Bruce Pearl has done at Auburn, putting that team, that program on the map. A Final Four appearance in 2019. Should have won the title then, and they may be back there this year by the time it's all said and done. But Auburn, clear factor in college hoops. Really, they've been that way for the last 7 seasons or longer. Down to Neville. Ugasuk off the mark.
See, right now, South Carolina doesn't have enough, to me, ball movement. They're trying to take shots not in the flow. Ugosu took the shot, but he was standing still instead of off the move, and that's why stuff is falling short. You got to have movement. You got to have cutters. And again, you got to go through your two guys, and they just have to be aggressive. If you're going to go down, you got to go down with their guns blazing, and they're coming at you.
Efficient offensive start today for Mississippi State. They've been right at 50% from the floor this entire game. Keyshawn Murphy, a big reason why. Matthews will hand it off to Harris. Clean block of the rim, 3 to shoot. Jones off the mark. Murray Boyles clears. And now Thomas, the floater. He's got 11. Lead down to 12.
There's still some time.
And a whistle comes in as Hubbard went down the baseline.
You know what happens when non-physical players try to play physical? They normally pick up cheap fouls. And Ugosu is not necessarily a physical player, and he's trying to bang that time with Harris, and he got called for a foul.
Ugosu with 3. Pringle gobbles up the board. Thomas picked up by Hubbard. Ugosu.
He's got no rhythm with his shot. He's just standing kind of straight-legged. He's a really good shooter, but he's got to get better footwork on the passes and the kicks.
Third foul on Josh Hubbard. Gamecocks in the bonus, with Zachary Davis coming back on the floor. And Nick Pringle at the line. This season, 65% free throw shooter. Went to Whale Branch High School down to the Low Country. Signed with Alabama. Final Four run a year ago.
He's got a big-time smile. I told him he's the happiest kid I've ever seen in the transfer portal coming to South Carolina. He always had a big smile. He can really play. We had him when they played Clemson, and boy, did he do a number on that day. And that's the capability that he has.
Offensive rebound by Conyers. Murray Boyles back to Conyers. That's a 3. Well, that would have been big if it went. Murray Boyles tracks it down. He's got 8 boards. Conyers again. That one's good. The lead down to 8. Crowd back in it. A 4-point possession. Gamecocks show a zone. And the pass sails out of bounds from Kugel.
A little change of defense always helps sometimes to give a team a different look.
Conyers.
Colin Murray Boyle has to figure out if he wants to be Patrick Mahomes or Kelsey. He can't pass it and receive it. I think they need to make him more Kelsey and get the ball to him so he can score.
And Thomas playing quarterback on that possession. Back to the free throw line. And 4 personals on Josh Hubbard. So that becomes a factor down the stretch. And 2 free throws here, Coach. Look out. Gamecocks are back within 2 possessions.
Thomas has put a lot of pressure on Hubbard, both offensively and defensively, and gotten him in some foul trouble.
Well, this team certainly feels different when Thomas is cooking. 12 points tonight.
I mean, normally he doesn't turn it over. He gets the ball where it needs to be, but that's where he's got to get the ball inside.
There's 4 players on the hardwood. 2 for each side, an 8-0 run for the Gamecocks to get back in it.
And they help each other up. That's what you like, just friendly competition.
I mean, dominoes in the paint. Everybody's okay. You laugh about it now. It's been that kind of game. Trapping zone pressure again for Carolina.
Mississippi State is so big, though, they can see over top of the trap.
8 to shoot for Murphy. The spin. Off the glass, no. Gamecocks are back in it. Thomas penetrating with the left hand. Comes up short, and Harris runs away with it. Harris for 3. Connects from distance to quiet this crowd.
That's what he does. He's a big-time shooter.
Timeout on the floor. Claudell Harris Jr. from distance. Lead back to 9.
And it makes it awful tough when they're 1-3-1 because you can get those diagonal passes if you have the size to see it. And Murphy's just so active in the middle. And now Mississippi State's going to come up with some pressure to see how South Carolina handles it.
Still a lot of time left in this game. Gamecocks had a chance to make it a one-possession game before that three-pointer by Harris moments ago. Thomas has been the engine this Carolina offense so far. Inside out, back to Conyers. Got 5 on the shot clock. Thomas is left wide open. Banks in a 3 from the top of the key. Well, that's one way to do it.
I'm telling you, he threw his hands up and said it wasn't what I was trying to do, but I'll take it.
Thomas has 16.
South Carolina's back in the 1-3-1.
Murphy to Matthews. 3.5 minutes remaining and a turnover. Thomas to Davis. And the jam on the stick back. Well, it was Pringle and Murray Boyles, the meeting at the rack. The lead down to 4.
The resiliency of the South Carolina team and this fan base.
Coach, the zone is working. 5 to shoot. Outside to Harris. Now to Kugel, wide open. Matthews tracks down the rebound.
That's what he does. He just comes up with those plays.
In and out for Kugel.
That was a huge possession. Kugel had 2 excellent looks.
Gamecocks still with life. Murray Boyles, the handoff to Thomas with a hot hand. He's bumped back to the free throw line for Jabari.
Thomas has made such an impact in this game. There you see him up top, pump fake, get it right, get the bank. They'll take it. Look, a layup right there. This is what your big time player does. He goes and gets you the bucket when you need it. Of Murray Boyles, but I just still think that he is such an offensive weapon. He's got to be really aggressive and look to score because I'm not so sure they've got anybody on Mississippi State that can guard him one-on-one. 6
points tonight, 9 rebounds. Remember the jam thumb suffered yesterday in practice. He's got it wrapped up on that shooting hand. One more for Thomas in a one-possession game for the first time in about 4.5 hours, it feels like. And now the run at 14 to 3. And this is what you're going to get all day in the SEC, all season long in the Southeastern Conference. Great teams, great coaches, great atmospheres like this one today.
Davis has good size at the point on this 1-3-1 zone.
Matthews to Murphy again. The runner.
He's so
out
tough.
and back down.
He's so tough.
The lead back to 4. Yeah, Murphy with that little push shot. We've seen a jump hook. Variety of moves inside. 13 points overall. And Thomas gets it back. Lost it for a moment. Loses it again. The steal by Cameron Matthews. Harris Jr. wide open.
Coach Chan looked at Harris and said, why? We got time. We're up. Why?
Quick trigger with 90 seconds to go. And an air ball gives it back to Carolina. Davis. Pringle lost it. Matthews claims it. Murray Boyle steals it. And he was fouled.
The only player that can take the ball from Matthews is Colin Murray Boyle. Because Matthews is just that physical and that tough. But that shows to show you the hands of Colin Murray Boyle.
Now Murphy just found himself open for a moment.
Watch Murray Boyle. You see, he takes the ball, finishes at the rim.
And he was grabbing that thumb on the way down. And Coach, I do think that's been a factor in this game tonight. 6 points, 9 rebounds. Not a factor on the free throw. One possession game again. He's adjusting it a little bit at the line.
It has definitely affected him. But you want him to be the guy that scores for you right now.
55-53. Under a minute to go. Shot clock at 10. And here's Hubbard, who's tripped Thomas. It was with the lower body. Hubbard maintained his balance, and the whistle was blown.
It's a tough call right there. You know Hubbard's going to come back to get it.
Boy, Coach, you look at it again.
It wasn't much there.
I don't know.
It wasn't much there.
The screen by Matthews. There's a lot of foot traffic. Shot clock resets to 20 seconds. And that was an awkward possession. Chris Chan sensing that Hubbard fell down. Matthews was retreating. And a wry grin from Mississippi State's head coach. They'll talk things over with a timeout.
Yeah, he had 2 players that went down, so he figured the best thing to do is call a timeout and reset something. I think at this point in time, they want the ball either to go to Hubbard or to Matthews because they're their best, stronger ball handlers. And South Carolina is certainly going to come out being aggressive defensively.
And we've seen Matthews spot Murphy with some open looks and some high-low action. We go back to Wednesday night. I was out at Arkansas. Hogs trailed the entire game against Georgia, came roaring back. That was the theme the entire evening. Florida, we saw it here in Columbia, trailed for all but 5 seconds before pulling one out late. A&M on the road in Oxford did the same thing. Can South Carolina do it here at home in the manner that Florida did it here in this same venue, in reverse fashion, if you will? You got to get a stop here to have a chance.
Yes. I look for right now Mississippi State. They've been running high ball screens and rolling Murphy to the basket and kicking the ball to Matthews, who either can drive it or make the play. So
Matthews has made that play, it feels like, more times than not in the second half. Energetic crowd at CLA. Crunch time in Columbia.
And they've got 2 shooters with Harris. They put Kugel on the ball.
Gamecocks back in a man-to-man. Screen for Kugel, and now Matthews. 8 on the timer. Matthews bottled up. Davis with a steal. There goes Zachary Davis. Tie ball game. Chris James says, let's wait for a second. No timeout yet. And Josh Hubbard will survey with a shot clock off.
Now they're going to come with the middle ball screen with Murphy.
Here we go. Hubbard retreats, backtracks. Now attacking Josh Hubbard. No! Overtime in Columbia.
South Carolina defense has been the name of the game the last couple of minutes with the key stop. The last steal right now coming up by Davis. He shoots the gap, is able to get the ball, finishes strong at the rim. We've talked about South Carolina's offense, but I told you all day they've been playing really good defense, and it's stepped up, and it's really saved them at the end of this basketball game.
We are tied for the first time since there was 6:32 remaining in the first half, and it ends in regulation with a double nickel, 55 apiece. Last time we were tied, Coach, it was 14 all. Gamecocks trail by as many as 14. We got free basketball and an extra 5 minutes to try to settle it. A wild comeback again in the SEC.
Yeah, but the key has been South Carolina, they haven't turned it over. And they've gotten good shots and been able to rebound. They've been able to get to the foul line. And that's the thing that allowed them to get back, which has hurt them in the past. Great execution there, and defensively, I told you from the beginning, they've been playing good defense the whole ball game. They just offensively, they just have been stymied a little bit.
The 1-3-1 transition defensively made a couple of possessions awkward for Mississippi State. Then Jamari Thomas gets to the rim and the free throw line, and then the steal and finish by Zachary Davis to knock this game up at the end of regulation, and you just never know, but it's a 19-5 run to end regulation for USC to give us overtime. And look, Gamecocks in search of that first SEC win, trying to start some kind of run. Sometimes all it takes is that first victory to get the job done.
It does. And my experiences have told me I got to go to Mary Boyles and say, hey, I know the hand. I know you're tired. I need 5 minutes. We got to ride you. We got to get the ball inside. We got to need you to finish. We need you to make plays. You know, I need you to be Kelsey, not Mahomes. I need you to score touchdowns, not throw passes. You know, that's what you're looking for.
Sounds like you like the Chiefs tomorrow over the Bills, by the way, in the AFC Championship.
I just know which part of the combination I need my best player to be.
Well, there's something about me and you in this building in overtime because we were last here together for the Clemson game. That went to OT. Gamecocks won it. Mississippi State also perfect in OT this year. Their win against rival Ole Miss. So a common denominator between these two teams. And South Carolina with possession to begin OT. Murray Boyles. Coach, they may have heard you. And the block by Cam Matthews gets it over to Murphy.
That's okay. That's the horse you got to ride.
Great look to Harris. The pump fake in the finish. Boy, Matthews, that was the fastball to get it inside.
Without question. If I'm South Carolina, I think I may go back and get one more look with the 1-3-1. Mississippi State really has not solved that.
Jamari Thomas. Harris fell down. Will bounce it to Davis. And now Conyers. Thomas the spin. Pringle trying to save it. Pops up to Murphy.
Thomas gets too deep sometimes to where he doesn't have angles to make the next pass, and that's what happened on that play.
Well, it's been heartbreak in SEC play for South Carolina. All of those one-possession losses. 3 before today. They would love to change that trend here at home. Bulldogs trying to bounce back after a road loss in Knoxville. Murphy off the mark. Jones skies in for the rebound.
That's what Jones does. He comes up with all the tough plays. Offensive rebounds.
Murray Boyles saves it to Pringle. What a play. And then Nick Pringle off his leg and out of bounds.
He got a little excited that time. He's got to take his time. Coach is really upset with Matthews. He's had 2 turnovers late, and it's just very uncharacteristic of the way that he plays.
That bucket you just saw, the only point scored in overtime thus far. And it was Matthews to Harris.
Look for them to try to go to Cougar.
Still don't see the zone so far in the extra session. Matthews wide open. Not a specialty, and the rebound be grabbed by Jamari Thomas. It's Thomas again over to Pringle. Now Murray Boyles looks for the shot in the mid-range, well short. Pringle in the right place at the right time. Thomas for the lead. Murray Boyles in a fresh 20, and Conyers go to the free throw line to try to tie it up.
Murray Boyles struggling a little bit offensively, but that's again why you go and play through him. But he goes and gets the rebound there, and again he's looking to set up his teammates.
Coach, he had 10 rebounds in the first meeting, 10 more today with 8 points, injured thumb and all.
He finds a way to help you win games. I mean,
Conyers rattles home the first. And Thomas going to check out. He'll get a breather with Wright back on the floor.
Look for maybe a change of defense right now for South Carolina.
We showed you the video earlier. We mentioned it moments ago. The close losses. Tied again at 57. I mean, you're a play away in 3 different games from being 3-3 in the SEC and against elite competition. Here's Hubbard. Harris off the fake. Pringle the rebound. Gamecocks with a chance to grab the lead. That has not happened today. Well, Conyers mad at himself. He didn't shoot it. He'll get another chance. Over to Wright. 5 on the shot clock. And Jacoby Wright's going to have to force one up. 5th possession of this game where South Carolina could grab the lead. It has not happened. Approaching a minute to go.
They really like to get Hubbard on a drive where he can kick to one of the post guys or score at the rim.
Coach, he was picked up by Nick Pringle 30 feet from the rim and a foul call.
And Lamont is asking why. Why are you pressuring that far? When you struggle, little things like that add up, and it seems to fall on your side of the ledger.
So Pringle with the foul, and Hubbard, an 84% free throw shooter, in a tie game in overtime.
When you defensively have been shutting them down to wind up being able to stick them to the foul line.
First free throw attempts of this game for Josh Hubbard out of Madison, Mississippi.
And Thomas comes back in the game.
Clutch. So Lamont Paris gave Jamari Thomas about 60 seconds to catch his breath. Remember, he hasn't played live action going back to early January.
But that adrenaline is flowing right now.
No doubt.
It is flowing.
2 of 2 for Hubbard. Bulldogs lead it by 2. And now Sean Jones will go offense for defense here. He'll check in. Hubbard will check out. And Hubbard with the 4 fouls. We'll wait for his next opportunity. Under a minute to go. Big possession for the Gamecocks. Murray Boyles. Conyers, and now Pringle. The spin. The putback. And let's see. Was that basket interference? They're going to take a look to see.
Put it up. Yeah.
Ruling on the board, basket interference. That plays under review.
And what it does is it gives Mississippi State a chance to get a huddle, make whatever substitutions if they could. Now they have the ball, so they can go offense, defense, substitutions.
Well, you saw the ball within the cylinder as it was trying to carry him out off the missed layup, and then Pringle jams it back. He probably needed another 4 or 5 inches for it to clear out of there. Easier said than done, of course. Coach, what do you think?
I think it's interference. From that angle, it looks like it. If they have another angle, maybe. And again, it's got to be enough to reverse it.
Here's the call.
After review, the play is confirmed. Basket interference.
2-point game. 34.6 seconds to go. Bulldogs will get it back with the lead. If you're Lamont Paris, you're trying to extend this out and play the foul game, or do you try to play defense and get it back with a couple of seconds left?
Play it out. Play it out.
You think you got enough time?
Play it out.
And they're going to move the clock to 35.4, so that helps out the cause. From that angle, for Mississippi State, this has been a hard-fought battle. Both halves and in OT. Nothing comes easy in this conference. Chris Jans thought it was going to be like this yesterday. We sat down and talked with him late last night before their practice. And he said, look, we're trying to preach to our guys. It's going to be different. It's going to be close. It's not going to be like what it was in our first meeting 3 weeks ago. And then it's proven to be the case. Even if it's taken some time for us to get there, here we are in a 2-point game in OT. 35 seconds to go when we come back. Matthews operating in that high area of the paint has spotted Murphy, it seems like, open more times than not throughout the second half and made the right decision in the passing lanes. I'm going to put on my analyst cap for a second there with some of that commentary, but let's see what Lamont Paris elects to do. It's full court pressure. Josh Hubbard just made 2 critical free throws moments ago. Matthews finally gets it into Harris. Lamont Paris wanted to travel. Claudell Harris Jr., 78% free throw shooter. And a 1-and-1 coming for the Bulldogs.
That's the problem with fouling, is that they really have good foul shooters on the perimeter.
Well, that dribble, it came late as he tried to jump stop. And now Claudell Harris, Louisiana native, gave you the numbers. And today, this will be his first trip to the line.
Made or missed, South Carolina has to take the ball to the rim, I think. And if they take it away, then kick it and maybe knock down a 3. Because normally teams do not want to foul. So you have an easier opportunity getting to the rim.
BC transfer is money. He's played in 115 games in his collegiate career and unfazed by the magnitude of this moment.
And that's what I was saying at first. I mean, Kugel is veteran. Harris is a veteran. Hubbard's a veteran. You got veteran guys you put into the line, but it's just a gamble you have to take. Now just take it and push it.
2-possession game. Thomas has to go. Murray Boyles, the jump stop and the bounce pass off the hands of Conyers. So another turnover for Carolina. Now 17 today, make it 18 after that one.
You needed a shot. You needed a shot where either you could have made it, rebounded, maybe got fouled. You had to attack the basket.
Gamecocks 0 of 4 from the floor with 4 turnovers in overtime. Bulldogs have reasserted themselves defensively after that late
You got
flurry
a foul. You got a foul.
to end regulation. And there it is. Jones at 81% at the line this season and was bumped by Wright. Coach, nothing comes easy in this conference. We know that
No.
The Bulldogs hold on and win this. It'll be above 500 in the league. Joe Lenardi has them as a 4 seed. You can't speak enough about the great job Chris Jans has done. He's trying to make it 3 for 3. 3 years in Starkville, 3 years in the NCAA tournament.
That's incredible. And people now have to come through Starkville. I mean, and that's not an easy place to play.
And a blocking foul called on Harris after the miss by Jones. Still life for the Gamecocks here. Thomas back to the line.
And that's what I said on the earlier possession. I thought they should have attacked like that and either drew a foul or normally the defense just lets you get to the front of the rim.
Jamari Thomas, 9 of 10 at the line. In and out. Georgia, Florida coming up as soon as we are done in Columbia.
These Gamecock fans that stay behind this team, though, I tell you what, they come out and support. And it was great fans here for a game against Florida. Again, you did the game yesterday. It was incredible. Even today, the energy in the building's been good. I mean, the Gamecock fans have really been loyal to this program.
Back to a one-possession game, 13 seconds to go. And obviously, only 13 ticks of the clock left. You're going for the steal, I would assume, and then the quick foul. But what's the methodology and what's Lamont Paris telling us guys?
Right now, you have to push the ball down to the baseline. And I go more zone trap than man because you want to trap the ball and try to steal the next pass. If you push it to the baseline, trap, try to steal the next pass. If you don't, foul right or right. You know, a lot of times if you go man, somebody breaks long and you're not able to foul or something, but you really want to push it to where you can trap it and try to get a turnover.
Well, still a warning for the rest of the SEC. You look at South Carolina's conference record, obviously still winless in the league. One possession loss against Auburn. One possession loss against Florida. On the road, a one possession loss against Vanderbilt. You're going to be tested. It's not going to be easy. No. And currently a one possession affair here in overtime against a top 15 team. And breaking the huddle now.
And that young man certainly was, did not has played with that thumb being a factor today.
8 points, 11 rebounds for Murray Boyles.
And defensively, he gave a great effort.
Thomas with 19 to pace South Carolina. For Mississippi State, you got 5 players in double figures. Nwoko, Murphy, Hubbard, Kugel, and Harris. Cam Matthews hasn't scored in this game, but has been an X factor for sure. 5 assists, and he's made a couple of solid decisions, some turnovers as well. They're rejected by Davis out of bounds. They were trying to spot Kugel on the post pattern.
And that's why he put size over the ball. Now he can't move. Now the inbounder cannot move.
And that changes the nature of this, right? Matthews will back up to make sure he has enough real estate. And now Will Howard's going to talk things over with Terry Oglesby. Let's see what this is about. See if they want to take a look at this. They do. Did it come back to Matthews standing out of bounds? Terry Oglesby will tell us the story here.
The call on the court is Mississippi State ball. That plays under review.
I mean, that's an imposing force in front of Matthews and Zachary Davis, 6'7", 200 pounds, and the wingspan just blocked the baseball toss right back where it came from. And we'll have a look ourselves to see where that ball ended up and who it was touched by last.
The last thing, Mississippi State did not want the ball to be caught in the corner, because that's when they draw up where you want to trap the ball. The corner is where the place you really want to get it.
Yeah, nothing there indicating that Matthews even grazed it or came close to doing so.
I think they're checking the clock.
Less than a half second came off the timer.
What you want to do, you want to get on the guy's hip. You want to force him down.
After review, plays confirmed. Mississippi State ball.
Well, these officials do an unbelievable job. I mean, and with the transparency and everything that you have now, I mean, all mistakes you can see them. That's the whole football play when they line up on the baseline.
You got 4 wide to the near side. Looks like all 9s.
The most important thing for Mississippi State is get the ball in. That's the most important.
The comeback route by Harris not open. Matthews gets rid of it. Melendez. Well, I thought he stepped out of bounds, but he turns it over. Carolina with a chance. The pass inbounds. The layup is good, and they'll stop play.
What happened?
Well, there was a lot that transpired right there.
I think the officials thought somebody called timeout. And
so a foul is called on Claudell Harris. Chris Jans, as soon as the ball was turned over, indicated to his team to foul right away. And they did that with 6.9 seconds to go. And the question is the clock correct? And do they want to have another look at that chaotic moment? And the answer is yes.
The clock is under review.
Melendez, that was over the shoulder. Somehow saved it, but right to Davis. And then the foul by Harris on Murray Boyles.
yes.
There's about 8 seconds and change there as soon as the contact is made.
So that came from the coach telling him to foul. I mean, that was part of the game plan.
When you like that call up by 3, you don't want to give them a chance to try to tie it with a triple. All right, so Murray Boyles, they're going to put the clock back at 7.1 seconds.
A lot of time.
Murray Boyles with the injured thumb has made both of his free throws today. Gamecocks still with timeouts remaining. And, Coach, is it as simple as you make one miss the first, or you try to make them both and then extend the game?
Extend the game.
Okay.
Give the other team a chance to make a mistake.
In and out for Murray Boyles. Gamecocks 22 of 28 at the line in this one. How does that change this sequence now? Still trying to make it?
Still trying to make it.
And with 7.1 seconds remaining, certainly makes sense. And a timeout will be called. Well, the end of this game extending deep into the afternoon in overtime. Georgia, Florida coming up when we're done in Columbia.
Make it, steal the inbounds pass, knock down a 3, everybody goes home.
What is the threshold for the time where you intentionally try to miss it? Is it 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, somewhere in that time frame in a game like this?
Yes. So much goes into if you intentionally miss it, you got to get the rebound. You got to hope that they foul you. I mean, it's a lot of variables. You look and see how many variables will work in your favor. If he knocks this down, we've set up our pressure. They've had trouble getting the ball in the last couple of times trying to do it, so I put them through that exercise again, and maybe we get a turnover, get a steal, and can make an easy basket. They've not looked, Mississippi State has not looked real smooth on any of their inbounds plays against the pressure.
Chris Jans wiping the sweat off of his brow, turning around for a moment, and you can feel the pressure, the intensity this game has been all about in the second half and in overtime. Bulldogs led by as many as 14 late. Gamecocks close on a 19-5 run to force the extra session. And it's back to the line. One more free throw for Murray Boyles. 67% on the air. He missed them both. Pringle gets the rebound. Off the hands of Conyers and out of bounds. My goodness.
That was as well set up as you can do. Pringle got the rebound. Pringle, they do the cross action with the bigs, the Conyers. It just goes right through his hands.
I mean, Coach, that's a microcosm of what has happened in league play for South Carolina in 2025.
I mean, again, though, he cannot move, and they've struggled getting the ball in bounds.
And a hold with Kugel trying to break free right as they inbounded the basketball. And just one more free throw, make it a two-possession game. Now, Coach, it's taken us some time to get to an end result here.
I tell you what, give Mississippi State a lot of credit. They've played extremely hard and well, and Coach has done an unbelievable job with the culture at Mississippi State and his success. You go to the portal, but not just did he go to the portal, but he got the right guys. You know, they play well together, they blend. And now a lot of teams have to come to start Vegas.
Kugel has the first free throw climb over the front of the rim. And a 4-point game late.
This game was not pretty in the first half, but you got to be able to win games that aren't pretty. And you do that with your toughness, your heart, and what you practice.
Kugel, the Florida transfer. We're going to send you to Gainesville as soon as we're done in Columbia for Georgia, Florida. Lead back to 5 and a timeout. Well, it's an overtime that has lasted nearly half an hour. Physical game today between MSU and USC. And the Bulldogs on the verge of improving to 4-3 in the SEC, 16-4 overall. Doesn't necessarily enhance the resume getting this win today, Coach, but it protects it. And coming off the tough road loss in Knoxville, that midweek tilt up at Rocky Top, and it's a bounce-back game and effort for Chris Jance's club.
Without question, because things can go south in a hurry with the talent in this league and things piling up. So coming in here, we talked to Coach last night. He was really nervous about this game.
He was.
Yeah, he was really concerned and everything. And give Lamont Paris a lot of credit. I mean, you know, he's not got the results that he wanted, but he's kept this team up. He's kept them competitive. I've been in practices, and their attitude is good, and, you know, it's going to happen. It's a matter of when.
Davis heaves it, picked off by Matthews, over to Conyers, the slam by Murray Boyles. And 0.9 seconds to go, another timeout. So it's back to a one-possession game. 63-60. And now you need a steal and a miracle. Mississippi State has had problems inbounding the basketball. And they'll double check to make sure the timing is accurate.
Mississippi State's inbounds have been an adventure, so it's if I was them, I would kind of space the floor, throw it long no matter what, make it difficult. I think sometimes when you bunch the guys up, it makes it easier for the defense. They can switch. They're right there on the catch. I think when you spread it and let somebody sprint hard for the basketball, it's a lot more difficult to guard.
They'll change the clock to 1.3 seconds. And now it's all or nothing. Bulldogs just got to get the basketball inbounds. There's been problems with the full court heaves we've seen. Zach Davis standing right in front of Cameron Matthews.
That foul shot play where the two bigs crossed and Pringle got the rebound. It was perfectly set up. They had the shooter on the wing.
Well, that's a moment you'll think back to and ask yourself, what if? Conyers catches that one cleanly.
I just think he hurried a little bit. I didn't think the pass was that tough. I just thought that, you know, he's got a lot of basketball ahead of him. I just thought he rushed himself a little bit.
Georgia, Florida coming up as soon as we're done here. Matthews sends it long to Kugel. He's bumped quickly and fouled with 0.7 to go. Gamecocks do have a timeout remaining.
Kugel was a veteran on that. When he caught it, he knows he didn't try to dribble it or anything. He just wanted possession.
Riley Kugel, 13 points. 79% at the line, and perfect 3 for 3 to put this one on ice. Josh Hubbard held in check in the second half. He was a difference maker in the first 20 minutes today. And Mississippi State on the road in Columbia. It was never going to be easy. And the Bulldogs never trailed, but they needed overtime to get the job done. Now 4-3 in the SEC, 16-4 overall. 65-60 our final score. For Perry Clark, I'm Roy Philpott. Down to Gainesville we go. Mike Morgan, Mark Wise. Gentlemen, take it away.